I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 136, 5 Lessons from 5 Years of Coaching. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. This has been a fun one to prepare for you. I'm excited to share with you some of the things that I have learned over the last 5 years. Many of them have been surprises to me. Many of them have been really humbling. Lots of lessons. Stick around. I think you too will learn some things from this episode. Before I dive into it, I want to remind you that my program is open. Doors are open. If this is something that you have had your eye on for a while, come join us. Come join us. It's a wonderful, powerful, life-changing program. I just wrapped up another group a few days ago, and going around that room in Zoom and hearing from them about their own transformations. Oh, it's just incredible to hear about saved marriages and being able to stand up in conflict and not shrink, being able to have the hard conversations that they never were able to have before, being able to push pause on their emotions and really respond in ways that are powerful and empowering. If this is something that you have felt drawn to, please come join this group. We need you. We want you. I know that it will be transformative for you. You can find the information in the show notes or go to andreagiles.com and go over to the Work With Me tab. Everything you need is there, even the link to join. All right, here we go. 5 years. I've been coaching for 5 years now, worked with so many people all over the world. I've had clients in Australia, all over the UK, Asia, and then all over Canada, all over the United States. My business has grown into an international business, and I have learned some pretty powerful things from my years of talking to and working with so many people. Lesson number 1, we are all a lot more alike than different. Okay? Here's something that early on used to get in my way a lot. I used to worry about the people who were staying versus the people who were leaving versus the people who don't know versus the people who were left, right? You would think that there's a lot of different things going on there in everybody's mind. And in reality, there's so much more alike than different. People who have experienced infidelity often feel the same. I've learned this from working with so many, and especially inside the group. It's so magic to have somebody ask a question or bring up something that's going on for them, and you see heads nodding up and down. Me too. I get that. Yes, I could have said those exact same words. Like, this happens all the time. Okay. And what I've learned is that the scenarios might look a little bit different, but they're the same problems to solve. Isn't that interesting? It's the same overall stuff that has to be sorted out internally. It's the same work. It's the same healing. The external things might look different. And often what we do is we rule ourselves out of getting the help that we need or want because we think I'm the only one. No one else really understands. I'm the exception. I'm the outlier here that no one will really get. They'll think I'm strange. They'll think I'm odd. They'll think I'm too much, that I'm overreacting, that I'm whatever, taking it too hard, that I'm whatever, right? And what I've learned is that it's just not true. It's just not true. We all carry so much of the same kinds of ways of thinking, the ways that our hearts get hurt, the struggles that we have. And I can tell you that the way forward, the healing required, the work required to heal, to really get your life back, it's the same path. It's the same work. The end of if you're staying or going looks different based on that work, right? Based on what you learn about the person that you're with, right? If it's somebody that is on board in really creating something amazing and new, or if they want to stay back, right? But the work going into it is the same, okay? We're all so much more alike than we are different. Number 2, there is far more nuance than we may think. The greater messaging in the world will tell you all kinds of things about infidelity and about cheaters, right? Once a cheater, always a cheater. That you should just end it and move on. That they clearly could not love you and do what they did, right? Those messages are a dime a dozen, right? Go to any infidelity Facebook group, go to Reddit. Those groups are ample. You will find those messages anywhere. And you might find those messages from your best friend, from family members, right? Guess what? Doesn't make it true. Just because a lot of people think it does not mean it's true. What if they're just wrong? Okay. I have coached hundreds of women. I've coached men. I've coached the ones who did cheat. I've coached women who, as they work with me, are able to see more nuance. They come to me often in a black and white frame of mind of like, I can't believe he did this. He's this, he's that. I'm just so angry. And there is a place for all of that. Okay. There is a place for all the anger and the rage. It does need to be there. We do need that. It often kind of drives us forward into action, but then we can get stuck in it and we can think that this is all there is. And that if he's this and that, then why am I even entertaining the thought of staying? If he didn't love me, doesn't love me now, if he is just going to do it again, right? All of those messages are so poisonous. They're so toxic. And in reality, there's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. Yes, there are some who cheat, who are true narcissists, who really cannot think of other people, who really do not have the capacity to make room for somebody else's point of view or to feel empathy for another person, right? I'm telling you now, that is far and few between. It's far and few between. Most affairs happen because an opportunity presented itself. It offered a way to feel something new and fun and was an escape from things they didn't want to deal with or know how to deal with. The skill set wasn't there, or they were afraid of what would happen if they dealt with it. If there was conflict in the marriage, or if there was something that they're not feeling happy about, but didn't quite know how to even ask for, didn't have the language for it. So here's this opportunity. There's an opportunity to feel something different, to kind of let some air in, even if it's false, right? Even if it ends up creating more problems down the road. This is more what is real. This is more what it looks like. Okay, there's almost always some kind of grandiosity present, thinking that they're somehow above the rules, that the rules don't quite apply to them, justifying things to make themselves feel better. Like, oh, well, yeah, I was alone with them, but it was like in a public place. And so I didn't think it was a big deal, right? It's these little justifications that end up getting us in big, big trouble, right? And in the end, though, it's this justifying that is like a soothing thing to make them feel better for the choices they're making, and often lead to another step and another step and another step until, boom, in a situation that they never anticipated, a full-blown affair, right? Often ones that go on for a good long time. And there's also a piece here sometimes of thinking that I deserve to be treated in this way. That's part of that grandiosity too, okay? But I'm telling you, these things can be healed. These things can be changed. There's just so much more nuance. There's so much more than I just should kick them to the curb. They're no good. There's so much more. There are times to leave. Okay. There are times to leave. I am not ever going to be one that is going to try to sell one thing over another, like staying over going, because I think divorce can be the greatest gift. And I think that staying can be the greatest gift. Anybody who's been around here for a while knows I did leave. I left. I left a 16-year marriage with 6 kids, right? All at home. They're all home. And there was a lot that went into that decision. And yet I knew that I had to. I knew that the ingredients were not there to create something that was safe for me, safe for our family. And so I left. But here's what I've learned. There are a lot of marriages that have the ingredients to create something amazing. They might be just the basic ingredients right now, but they are enough. It's often enough to develop out, to learn the skills, to learn the tools, to collaborate together, to create something where there is room for both of you. And when you can stop being in the black and white frame of mind and it's almost like a surrendering to what else could be true, what else is here, we can see more of the possibility. Okay. So to wrap up point number 2, it's not black and white. It just isn't. It just isn't. But the world will tell you that it is, right? If this happened, then you have to do this. And if you don't do that, then this means this about you. And these are the things that keep people stuck. These are the things that keep people from doing the deeper work of growing into a person who can hold opposing truths at the same time. That can hold, for example, he did this really, really painful thing and made some really poor decisions that really, really hurt me. And he's a good person. And I still love him. And it's worth fighting for. And, on and on and on. Or opposing, that he can be a really good person and you still don't want to stay with them. Okay, that can be there too. But the nuances are going to develop you to be able to hold opposing views, to see others' opposing views without rejecting them. Okay. All right. On to number 3. It's not a huge surprise that it happened. All right. Hear me out on this one. I know for you listeners, it probably was. It was probably the shock of your life. But after working with so many people, couples, individuals, hearing so many stories, there are some ingredients, there are some predictors, there are some conditions in which a marriage can become ripe and vulnerable for infidelity. I don't say this to scare anybody. I'm saying this from the experience that I've had in watching this and seeing it play out and having hundreds of conversations, okay? First of all, let's talk statistics. Some of the latest studies say that the statistics are that 40 to 45% of all marriages will experience some form of infidelity. I'm here to tell you, I think the number is higher. I think there's a lot of unreported and undisclosed infidelity. I think there are many marriages where there have been indiscretions that have been buried deep. Like, I will never reveal this. No one will ever know. She will never know. He will never know. I think that is pretty rampant too. And again, this is not to be a naysayer or make people feel afraid. I'm just talking the reality of the statistics. This is of people who have actually come forward, right? How many people have not? On my end, what this makes me want to do is kind of scream from the rooftops, a voice of warning. I see the patterns. I see the things that people come and tell me, this is what was going on in our marriage. This is what he was dealing with. This is what I was dealing with. This is what was happening. And you see that enough times, there's some trends, right? So let me tell you some of those trends that I've seen that are really interesting, okay? You might be surprised. One that I have seen is a big life-altering change. One of them is death. I cannot tell you how many times someone will come and say, my husband cheated, his mom died a year before, his dad died. So many times where there's this big thing, they did not have the emotional skills to deal with it. And so there was an opportunity presented, and it was an emotional escape to avoid the pain, to not deal with the hurt, to not confront it. Okay, that's one big one. Another big one is around pregnancy and childbirth and early years of having children. I don't like this. I don't at all. I think it's sad. But a lot of people have come to me and said, I was pregnant with kid number 1 or pregnant with kid number 3, and he got involved and this is what he was doing. Or I had just had a baby and this is what was happening. And I've thought about this and gone, what is going on with the men? What's going on with them? And I think that a lot of it is discomfort at a big change coming, not knowing how to cope, not knowing how to deal, not knowing how to handle it. And I will say, I'm going to be honest here, even in my own marriage, my current marriage, we had a really, really hard time when I was pregnant with our surprise number 12. And after her birth, we went through a really rough patch. She's 2 now, but there were times where I was looking at my options, where I was really, really thinking about it and taking into consideration all the things that I coach on and going, Andrea, what do you want? What's your bottom line? What's your standard for what kind of marriage you want? What kind of relationship you want? What are the areas that need to go? What are the areas that need to grow, right? And now, just a little background, we have a huge blended family. He had 5 with his first wife. I had 6. We decided not to have any together. He had a vasectomy. And voila, I was pregnant at 43. One of the bigger shocks of my entire life. I was shocked. I got depressed. I had been a mom for a long time. At the time of this recording, my oldest biological kid is 25 and I have a 2-year-old. Okay, just to put that into perspective. And I was really mad that I was kind of seeing the light of being an empty nester, and knowing that I would be starting over was really, really, really hard. It was really hard. And I'd worked so hard to build my business and didn't know how I was going to be able to do both. And my husband also really, really struggled. It definitely hit on some trigger points for both of us in big ways. And it was rough. And, fortunately, we have worked through it. We've gone and gotten help. He went and got help. I had people that I worked with to help me, and we've been able to come together and unite. And gosh, we love our girl. Oh, every day, right? We cannot imagine not having her. How could we not have her, right? It's turned into that. But I do understand this space of sometimes we self-destruct. Sometimes we do things that are so self-sabotaging when we don't know how to handle the stress of something. And this is something that I have seen time and time again in talking with people. So also some other things that I see all the time that are predictors are when intimacy has gone out the window. And this is not to say like we have to be intimate this many times a week or that you owe your partner, nothing like that. It's more what is going on underneath in the relationship to where either that desire is not there, or maybe you don't feel safe being that vulnerable. What's going on there, right? Sometimes one or both feel like they're in trouble with the other person all the time. I felt that way a lot in my first marriage. I felt like I was kind of in trouble, like that I was going to get scolded or chewed out. And it was a really painful way to live. And I hear that a lot from men, that they often feel like they're in trouble, that they're just being judged, that they can't quite make a move that's right. And, when you've got somebody there that's telling you how amazing and wonderful you are, it can be really easy, right? Really easy to go, that's nice over there, right? And so when there's seething resentment, when there's just a stop of communication where it's apathetic, like whatever, don't even care. These are all huge red flags. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Again, I'm not saying that in every relationship where these things are present, somebody's going to be unfaithful. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying this will continue and get worse unless something drastically changes. Okay. On to lesson number 4. Sometimes it's the only thing big enough to wake up the marriage. While I don't love that, I think it's true. Okay. These marriages that are just in so much pain, these marriages where people are suffering, where they feel disconnected, where they feel invisible, where they feel like they have to squash so far down how they actually feel or just ignore themselves completely to just get by. And often, I would say most of the time, affairs happen less because somebody's just being a horribly selfish person. Yes, it is a selfish act. It is. Okay. But I think more times it's like, I can't tolerate the way that I feel in this marriage. And I got to do something to let some air in to feel something different. And everyone that I talk to that has had the affair says, I wish I did it different. I wish I would have gone about it in a different way, approached it a different way, right? But we often do not know how. We are not taught strong relational skills, how to go in and like have these conversations and say, I'm not going to continue this way. I'm dying inside, right? We don't know how to do that, how to handle the conflict of that, right? How to approach things in a way that's not aggressive. These are the things that have to be learned and taught. And so sometimes, a lot of the time, what happens is there is a breach, some kind of infidelity, and it's the only thing that's big enough to wake up the marriage, to jolt it awake, to go, whoa, 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 wake up, wake up. Our house is on fire. Our house is on fire. What's going on here, right? We all have troubles and struggles in our relationships at different times. We all do. But how easy it is to go back into old ways of doing things, using the same way that we've always dealt with conflict to deal with this. Same way of avoiding or our fear responses, right? Fighting or fleeing or whatever we tend to do. Going back into those same relational patterns. Infidelity is one of the very few things that's such a jolt to the system that you have to pay attention. You cannot just ignore it. And those that try to, it will bite you in the butt. It will backfire. There is no shortcut. There is no avoiding it. There is no not going through it if you want a shot of any kind of healthy relationship for yourself and with your partner. And it's a bummer, but over my years, I've heard so many times now, I'm glad it happened. I don't know that anything would have changed. I don't know. I don't think anything would have changed. I think that we would either be divorced or just so unhappy. And I feel so much more alive, so much more aware. I'm such a different person for it. And this is whether they're staying or going. Okay? All right. Number 5, both people have to participate in the healing or it's a no-go. I backed that one up. I feel very firm on that one. Yes, my group coaching program is for women. I will be developing out more things for men and for couples. That's coming. But my main offer right now is for women. But here's why. Because a lot of my women don't know how to have their own back because they've been conditioned to kind of keep themselves down, to not take up too much space, to not be too much. They often don't know the questions they should be asking. They don't know what it is they need to be looking for, and they don't know how to approach it, right? They don't know how to approach it. They don't know what they're allowed to ask for. And so they come into my group and I help coach them on these things in real time. What about this? What about this situation? Am I a fool for even considering staying, right? I would never say yes to that question. I would help explore it so that they can answer it for themselves. But here's the thing. Yes, I help my women to grow stronger internally so they can go into the relationship as a really strong advocate for moving things forward, whether that's with that person or without. But what happens is my women are able to go have these conversations that their spouses are like, oh my gosh, wow, who is this? And give them something strong to think about, to go, she means business. Like she's not going back to the way it was. She's not going to just ignore this. She's not just going to sweep this under the rug. She means it. She's serious. She will leave me. I would be alone if I don't get this together. And, there's some schools of thought around just getting really strong internally. So basically anybody can do anything and you cannot get offended and you can just let it be and let people do their thing and not need anybody to change. I get that to a point. And my thought on that is it's not quite good enough. And here's why. Because I believe that the greatest joy in relationships comes from both people being all in. That's where it gets really awesome, really fun. where both of you get to thrive, where it's not one of you having to be really stoic and like putting up with things that you really don't want to put up with, but being able to handle it because you're so emotionally strong. Nope, that's not good enough. The only way that it works in a way that makes it all worth it, as far as keeping the marriage together, is if both people are working to build something amazing. That means both people are looking at their own, where they go off the rails in their own thinking, where they are dragging things down, where they are self-sabotaging, really looking at it, how they're showing up, right? It goes for both parties. And if it doesn't, it's a no-go. It's just not going to happen. At least it's not going to happen in a sustainable way. Both people have to participate. That was number 5. I'm going to throw in a bonus number 6. In the last 5 years of coaching, I've learned so much about me, so much about myself. I came into the coaching business bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm going to build a coaching business with zero experience in any kind of business. And what I've learned is that when we put our minds to something, when we feel called, when it's a mission, when we feel driven, we can figure out whatever we want. We can figure it out. If it's in our heart to do something, it means that there is a solution. And that goes for if you feel in your heart one way or another about your marriage, about staying going, about what your bottom line is, about any of those things, it means that it's possible. It just means that there might be some growth and development that needs to take place for you to see that. And that becomes your path forward. Okay. For me, I had a lot to learn. So much to learn. I grew up really poor. I don't know how much I've talked about this, but I grew up really poor, like really poor. Like for all of my middle school years, we had no electricity. We had no running water, no phone. For part of that time, I lived in a tent with an outhouse on the side of the road. When I say poor, I mean poor. And it has been quite a feat to teach my brain that I'm worthy of money, of not needing to worry about money, of having nice things. It's been a lot to teach my brain that I can balance work and family. It's been a lot to teach my brain that my voice matters and that I'm worth listening to. And throughout this, I have been able to build a thriving 6-figure business that has been such a joy. And I've also learned that the times that have been really, really hard, like when I talked about after my baby was born, and even during when I was pregnant, it was challenging. And then after she was born, it really, really hit the fan. It was really hard. And what I've learned is that those moments, as much as they suck when you're in them, they're carving me out. They're working for me. I believe that to my core. They're carving me out. They're refining me. They're showing me the areas that I need to strengthen, showing me that it's time to focus on this now. It's time to double down on this thing. It's time, Andrea, to let go of this way of dealing with things that is no longer serving you. Your way of approaching, your way of dealing with things, right? Whatever that may be. And I believe that for you too, that even the hardest stuff, the things that are just painful, can be your greatest teachers, can deepen your abilities. You know, for me, I look at that really hard time and 100% it helped deepen my ability to help others, to understand more about people. Okay. It's pretty powerful. Anything that is on your mind, on your heart, that you want, something that matters to you, you're meant to have it. This business has been such a joy to me, such a blessing to my family. Every day I pinch myself that this is what I get to do. Okay, so to wrap this up, lesson 1, we are a lot more alike than different. Lesson 2, there's far more nuance than we may think. Lesson 3, it is not a huge surprise that it happened. Lesson 4, sometimes it's the only thing that's big enough to wake up the marriage. And lesson 5, both people have to participate in the healing or it is a no-go. All right, my beautiful people, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned from it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's andreagiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.